Yeah, and so again, this is just posing a sort of a basic conservative versus liberal sort of attitude here, and this is why the chapter three, Washington and Du Bois, is good because Washington challenges the liberal assumptions of Du Bois. Now, Du Bois is writing the book, so Washington is really only there in the third person. But Du Bois does give a fairly good assessment of Washington's argument, even if he doesn't accept it. So you see this liberal versus conservative, way of thinking, right? And again, Washington is like, hey, you know, uh, we're going to take care of things ourselves. We're going to, build our community from the ground up. We're not going to get into the idea of education, the talented tenth, thinking about things, writing about things, right? That basically, what happened in the past happened and we need to move on, right? And not think about, too much about it, right? So that tends to be sort of the conservative idea, and double consciousness along with Freud and Marx and other thinkers tends to be a more liberal notion, right? That in order to progress in society, we need to deal with our history. We can't forget it, right? We need to know it. We need to talk about it. And this is a type of therapy. Whether we will solve the problems of our history or overcome our historical traumas is another thing. But for the conservative thinker, obsessing about, doing this type of historical consciousness is a form of obsession, which just makes everyone feel bad about themselves and ultimately creates finger pointing sort of aspects between victim and victimizer, and ultimately is seen as not being um, useful. Okay, but from the liberal point of view, when the conservative says that, the liberal saying, "Well, you're just trying to erase history or to cover it up." Okay, you're oppressing us. But anyway, these are some interesting thoughts on this. So, I'm not really sure the author is talking about Washington here. I'm not really sure that, Washington is, coming out in this way. Needs to be a closer reading of the text, I would say. Um, Here, next writer, it's double consciousness, not double conscious. That's a very important point there. Okay. Um, Again, where's the text? What's your argument? Description, summary, reporting. Great, but what do you think? That's what we're looking for here. Where do you stand on the argument?